Hey, rock fans, this is Chad from Albany, the rock and roll correspondent for the Nation's Corner. Doing a little video here because last Monday we lost one of the rock and roll greats named Rick Derringer, who had some ties in the rock and wrestling connection in the mid 80s, which helped shoot wrestling into the stratosphere. Um, he goes way back into the mid 60s, and around 1965, he was in a band that uh, I guess kind of became dubbed one of the legends of garage rock, called the McCoys, and they had a big hit called Hang On Sloopy. I believe it went to number one, and that was just one of those songs where everybody who picked up a guitar, it was one of the first songs they learned how to play. Everyone knows it. And that band dissolved in the late 60s, and he went on to being a sideman for the Edgar and Johnny Winter bands, having the songs Frankenstein and Free Ride, both in 1973, that are rock and roll staples. And speaking of rock and roll staples, he had one of that same year on his own called Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. Everybody knows that song. Everybody loves that song. But even with all of his accolades, he only won one Grammy, and that was with Weird Al Yankovic, because he produced the first six Weird Al albums, which were, I'd say, 83 to 89. Other songs that he played guitar on were Making Love Out of Nothing at All by Air Supply and Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart, where those songs were written by Jim Steinman, who wrote Meatloaf's most well-known songs, Bat Out of Hell, and all those magnum opus rock and roll songs. But the record company of Meatloaf's turned those songs down, so he didn't record them. So they went to Air Supply and Bonnie Tyler, respectively, and he played lead guitar in both of those. And the Air Supply song is actually his favorite solo that he said he's ever played on. And as a guitar player, I believe it was 77, Derringer Live is an underrated guitar album, rock album, live album. I really recommend checking it out. Now, he developed a friendship with Jim Steinman and with Cyndi Lauper in around that time. As he played guitar on those songs that went to those two artists. And with their help, he was asked to produce 1985's The Wrestling album, which then led on to 1987's Pile Driver, The Wrestling Album Volume 2, for the ever-expanding WWF. And at that time, he wrote Real American, which was originally supposed to go to the U.S. Express, which was Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, who later known as IRS, and they're a Hall of Fame tag team. But that really didn't last at all, and that song ended up going to Hulk Hogan. And the song is absolutely iconic, to the point where it was even, to this day, actually, was used in politics on both sides. In a correspondence dinner in 2011, Barack Obama used that song for the unveiling of his birth certificate. And even Hillary Clinton used it, Newt Gingrich, and of course Donald Trump in this last election, in which Hulk Hogan was a part of that election. But from somebody who was growing up at that time in the 80s, early 90s, going to the WWF live shows, even though I wasn't a Hulk Hogan fan, when that song dropped and Hogan came out, and we're talking even at a house show, the rafters shook like when you would see Aerosmith playing Dream On in an arena. It was unbelievable, the power of this song, and the legend of Hulk Hogan at the time. And again, I was more of a Macho Man, Roddy Piper, Big Boss Man, Kerry Von Erich fan. But there was just something that tugged on you when you heard dun 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 dun. Everybody, the roof blew off the place. It was It was unbelievable. And if you grew up in that time, or if you were a little bit older than myself in that time, you felt it. If you were a parent bringing your kids, even you felt it. That song was. It's really part of our Americana at this point, and we have him to thank. And also, my favorite tag team of all time was Demolition, and he wrote that really killer, underrated wrestling theme song for them as well. Um, so, it's kind of with a heavy heart we lost one of the greats who, had his toes in the early days in the 60s, was part of that arena rock in the 70s, but yet had really close ties to the WWF and the expansion at that time in the mid 80s into the late 80s with those the wrestling albums, his connections with Cyndi Lauper and the rock and wrestling connection that was all over MTV. If you were around that time, you get how big that was, and really was the launching pad to the WWF becoming the juggernaut is today. So, you know, we salute you, Rick Derringer. Thanks for everything that you do, and that you did, and we appreciate you. And rock on. They rock and roll heaven has got a hell of a band. The Righteous Brothers said, and it just gained a hell of a guitar player. So. This is Chad from Albany, rock and roll correspondent for the Nation's Corner, saying next phase, new wave, dance craze. Anyways, it's still rock and roll to me.